Hello and welcome back to week 2 of the Cottage Twirl Quilt Along. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited for today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I actually get to sew, which I'm super excited about because I really don't get to sew that much anymore. It seems like I'm just busy with so many other things, but today we get to sew and I'm excited about it. So you should count how many times I say that today. If you're new here, if this is the first time you're seeing me, hi, my name is Miriam. I talk about all kinds of quilting things here on YouTube, and we are in the midst of a quilt along. So we are making my Cottage Twirl quilt. This is a pattern that I've designed. This is a free pattern. So if you would like the free PDF, I will have it linked down below. If the link for some reason is not working in the description box, check the pinned comment and I'll have them linked there as well. For whatever reason, YouTube is doing something weird when I link products to my website. They're redirecting those links to just like an interface on YouTube. It's weird. I'm not really sure what's going on. It's one of those things that I got to figure out what's going on, but that'll be done at a later date. So if you're not able to find it, just go to that pinned comment, the top comment, and the links for that will be there, okay? If you would like a booklet form like this, it is $6 for sale on my site. That includes the shipping cost, and I will ship one out to you ASAP, okay? So this quilt is going to be finished 66 by 78, so it's like a large throw. It's very cozy, very cute. These are really fun blocks. There's 2 blocks in this quilt, and today we're going to be making the first one, a very simple 9-patch block. All right, let's just jump right into it. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see everyone else's version of the 9-patch. I just love how there's these simple classic blocks that we can make. And depending on your fabric selection, it can look completely different, and I just love that. So to make our 9-patch blocks, we are going to be utilizing strip piecing. So that's basically, we are taking strips of fabric, sewing them together, and then we will cut our units from those pieced strips, okay? So today, we just need to use fabric E, fabric F, and fabric G. So I have mine here on my table. Let me show you really quick here. So I've got my fabric E, fabric F, and fabric G. So these are beautiful. This is from one of my kits that I made for this quilt along. This is the Warm Hearts quilt kit. If you're interested, there's still some available, and I have 2 other kits as well that I made for this quilt along. They've been selling extremely well and quick. So if you're interested, you can check out my website, and which will be linked in the description box below, and you can check those kits out, okay? So I'm trying out these alpha clippies from the Fat Quarter Shop. They sent me some to try. And so I am trying them out with this pattern, and so far I quite like it because it really helps you stay super organized with fabrics, especially when you have several different fabrics. You can have the little labels on here. And in my pattern, I label all the fabrics with a letter anyways. So these work really great. So they come with the full alphabet, and then they also come with number clips too. So these are really cool. I will link these in the description box if you're interested. And if I like these, I might actually try to order some of these and have them for sale in my shop, because that would be a fun thing to have in my notions section on the shop. So anyways, so we are going to sew our strips together. So our first fabric combo we're going to work with is fabric E and fabric F. And we need 4 sets. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera back where it was, and we are going to start putting our strips together, all right? We're going to take fabric E, then put a fabric F in the middle, and then another fabric E. So it's going to be sandwiched, kind of like an Oreo, right? So I have fabric E and a fabric F. And we're going to, mine are folded up, so we're going to unfold them. Let me point the camera down so you can actually see what I'm doing here. So we have E and F, and we're going to put these together. And I always just try to put the selvage edge that has like the printing on it, I try to put those at the same end. So then when I go to trim everything up, I can just trim those off when I go to cut the units out. But you can go ahead and cut your selvage off before you do this part. But that's just, I don't know, it's just how I've always done it. So we're going to put them right sides together. And if you were using any kind of directional fabric, so for example, my fabric F has a directional print. So see, they're like little flowers. And this is obviously the top edge of the fabric, and down here is the bottom edge. So if you're using directional fabric, just make sure that you are putting it in the direction that you want. So when you go cut your pieces, you're not cutting them so they're upside down, okay? But we're just gonna put these right sides together. And if you are very new to quilting and you're not comfortable with just putting them together like this and just sewing, you can pin your fabrics together. So you can just, you put them right sides together and then you just get some pins, some straight pins like this. You can see, you get a straight pin and you can just kind of put it through about 1 inch away from the edge and then poke it back up through like that. And that will hold your fabrics together, and you can do that all the way down. I would put the pins maybe 6 or 8 inches apart. I do not recommend stitching over your pins. I know some people do that. I've seen plenty of people stitch right over the pins, and I don't like to do that because that can bend your needle. It can bend your pins. It could potentially break something. And you could get a pin or a needle stuck down in your machine where you don't want it. Or worst case scenario, that sharp pin or needle could fly up and hit you in the eye, in the face. It's not worth it to save you 2 seconds to pull that pin out before you stitch over it. So that's my 2 cents on it anyways. So we're gonna sew these together using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want, okay? It's not a race, and there is no shame in going slow, especially if you're just starting out. This is really great practice for just sewing in a straight line, okay? All right, so that is our first seam we've sewn. I don't know if you can see those stitches, but that is a 1/4 inch seam. And now we're just gonna open this up. And we're gonna sew on our next fabric E to the other edge of fabric F, okay? So grab your next fabric E strip and we're gonna lay them right sides together, and we're gonna do the exact same thing, okay? So line up the edges just like that. Our edges are lined up perfectly. And then we're gonna sew them together using a quarter of an inch seam. All right, so your unit should look something like that, all right? So we've got 3 strips sewn together, right? Just like that. And you're gonna do 4 sets exactly like this one, okay? I would, when I'm actually making this, if I'm not doing a tutorial on it, I would just sit here and do all 4 sets at once. And then we're going to take this over to our ironing board and we're gonna press our seams. And this is an important step. I know pressing seams isn't the most glamorous part of quilting, not the most exciting part of quilting, but it really is a really important step. So let's go ahead over to the ironing board and I'm going to show you how we're going to press the seams for this fabric combo. And then for our other units, for our fabric F and G sets, we're going to press the seams differently. So pay attention to the direction in which we are pressing our seams, okay? Can we pause for a moment to appreciate my super cute sweatshirt? I was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh as a kid. I was specifically obsessed with Tigger because tigers were my favorite animal. So I was very excited when I spotted this. I got this at Walmart for $13. Really great deal. So if you have a Walmart near you, go check to see if they have this really cute Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt. It's really, really good quality. I was shocked that it was only $13. And it's got all of the characters on it, and it's just really classic Winnie the Pooh. I just really love it. And it says, "Life was meant for good friends and great adventures." I mean, come on. It's so cute. All right, back to the tutorial. We are going to lay it out on the ironing board, and the pattern says to press all of the seams towards the E fabrics. So that's the outer fabric, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take our iron, and we are going to, let's start down here so you can actually see. We are going to press all of the seams towards this fabric, and this seam we're going to press it towards this fabric. I hold the fabric E and kind of slightly pull it, but you don't want to stretch it. You just want it to lay flat as you run the iron over it, and that's going to help it lay really flat for while you are pressing it. And we're just going to do this all the way down. And the reason why this is so important, the direction that we press our seam, is when we go to sew our pieces together to create the blocks, this is going to help our seams do what's called nesting. So they're going to lay kind of like that. So one seam is going to be pointing that way, one seam is going to be pointing that way, and then the seam lays really nice and flat, and it just makes the block look so much nicer. And it takes down any bulk, and it just looks really great. So, and I think it's fun to do. So, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other seam. So we're pressing towards our E fabric, okay?
In a world of green, just like a dream, you and I standing wild and free, with petals so golden, the sun's warm kiss, a love so strong, a bliss. Whispers of the breeze, secrets unfold. It's you that I need, it's you that I want. When the world gets cold, it's you.
Now I like to just flip this over and give it a quick press just to kind of set that seam and so it lays really nice and flat. I'll just go over both of them at the same time. And if I see any wrinkles on the fabric, now is the time I kind of like to press those out. Any creases from when it was folded, all of that. So just kind of run the iron over all of the fabric. All right, and that is how we do our first sets with the fabric E and F. So that is pressed and ready for us to cut our units from. But first we're going to piece our other set and then press those seams, and then we'll get to cutting, okay? So I'm gonna set this aside for now, and we're gonna go back to the sewing machine and sew up our other set real quick. So now we need 2 fabric F strips and 1 fabric G. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that started here. That's my fabric F, fabric G. Fabric G is gonna be the cream of the cookie this time. It's the exact same thing. Line up the edges and do your 1/4 inch seam. Enjoy some music while we sew these together.
When the sun comes back, you'll see. Oh, dandelion, the strength that you've shown, stronger each year. Look how we hold on through the toughest of times. We still stand strong. Through pavement we will grow.
Oh, I I just thought I might get some questions about what I'm using and everything. So let me go over this real quick. I am using Aerofill 50 weight thread for my piecing. I've been going through a spool of Aerofill for the last month or so. Whenever I'm sewing anything, I'm using that because I just wanted to try the thread and see if it is superior or if it's a good thread. I had it and I wanted to try it out. So that's what I'm using. And it's kind of like a slight off-white color. I don't know the exact color, kind of like an off-white. And then the machine I am using is I use a Juki TL 2010Q sewing machine. This is pretty much the only machine I use for everything. Piecing, quilting, all of that. Any other kind of sewing that I try to do, this is the machine that I use. And it's my favorite, it's my favorite machine ever. I just think it's amazing. It's a workhorse. It does beautiful quilting, beautiful even stitches all the time. And yeah, it's just a really great machine. I love it. So there is our second set. Let's take this over to the ironing board. And now when we press these seams, we are going to press these towards the center strip, towards fabric G. And like I said before, this is going to help our seams nest, okay? So I'm just going to do the same thing we did before, but instead of the seam being pressed this way, we're pressing it towards that center strip. And you could always press both seams at the same time. I just prefer to do one at a time just so nothing gets messed up. No weird folds go on or anything like that. So totally up to you though. If you want to do them at the same time, go for it. So that's what your seams should look like. They're going towards that center piece. And then I'm just gonna flip that over and do like I did with the other strip and just kind of set that seam and run my iron over the whole piece to make sure there's no creases or anything. So everything's laying as flat as possible for our cutting. All right, welcome to the cutting mat. So now we're gonna cut our units out. So what we are going to do is we need our rotary cutter, right? I have my beautiful Olfa ergonomic handled rotary cutter. And we are going to cut our pieces out. From each set, you can get 9 units from, okay? So I'm just going to cut a few out for our tutorial purposes. I'm gonna get this laid out nice and flat, okay? This is our first set. I'm gonna go ahead and cut maybe like 4 out. I'll make 2 blocks with you guys. How about that? So I'm gonna go ahead and now I'm gonna cut off my selvage. Again, if you already did that, then that's fine. You've already done that, but I'm just gonna cut that selvage off here real quick. And now we're gonna cut 4.5 inch wide units, okay? We're gonna line up a horizontal line with our fabric down here, and then we're gonna line up a vertical line, the 4.5 inch line on our ruler, with the straight edge that we just cut the selvage off of, okay? And we're gonna line that up and we're gonna cut out our unit. Just like that. So that is 1 unit, and we need 2 per block. So I'm gonna cut out 4 here, just so I have enough to make a couple of blocks for right now. And this is how you're gonna cut out all of your units, okay? Really simple. And you wanna make sure that your ruler does not shift while you're cutting. You want these to be really nice and square. So I'm gonna set these aside over by the sewing machine, because that's where we need them next. I'm gonna set this strip off to the side because eventually I'll cut the other pieces out. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm gonna move on. So again, same thing, I'm gonna cut off my selvage here. And then we're gonna cut out our pieces. And I'm just gonna cut 2 because we just need 1 per block. This is a great time to remind you guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you're enjoying this quilt along and these videos, please give the videos a like. That really helps out my channel for the video to get pushed out to more people. And yeah, I'd love more people to join in on the quilt along. It would be really fun. And also, I don't know if you guys know, some people know, but YouTube has created this new feature thing where you can hype channels, which basically there's like this leaderboard. I don't anticipate getting put on a leaderboard because quilting is just such a small niche. But I think also if your videos get hyped, that will also push them out to more people. I'd love if you would be willing to hype the videos as well. So that's a new thing that they're doing, and I don't know how long they will do it or really how big of an impact it's going to have, but it could be great. So we'll see. I don't know. Back to the sewing machine. All right, let's make these blocks. Now we need 1 unit from our fabric F&G Fabrics, and we need 2 units from the other set. And basically we're going to piece it like so. And that's what it's going to look like. That is a 9-patch block. So we are going to start just with 1 of the E and F pieces and then the center piece, the F and G piece. So we're going to put them right sides together. And this is where you really want to pay attention to your seams that you pressed, okay? Oh, make sure that if you're using directional fabric, make sure that the fabrics are facing in the right direction. Make sure one's not flipped accidentally and your directional fabric is upside down, okay? So quick reminder for anybody that's using directional fabrics. But we're gonna put these right sides together, right? And what we wanna pay attention to is that our seams are lining up perfectly. So this is what it will look like. Do you see that? This fabric's going that way. This fabric is going that way. They're right up next to each other. They are perfectly nested. And see, it's doing that for both seams. So that's what you want to pay attention to when you're putting these right sides together, okay? You also want to make sure that when you're feeding the fabric through, that you're not pulling on the seam at all, because that can just kind of make the seam a little lumpy and weird looking. So let the machine do its job and feed the fabric through without you pulling or stretching those seams at all, okay? So we're again going to sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And at this point, I would use some back stitches. So you're gonna stitch forward a couple of stitches and then back stitch a couple of stitches. And that's just going to hold those stitches in place, okay? And then you're just gonna stitch. And when you come to your seam, make sure that the fabrics are laying in the direction that you pressed them. Okay. And that will ensure they lay really flat also. And again, here we're gonna do a couple back stitches. That is our first section. Look how perfectly those squares are lining up. That's because we nested those seams, and that looks so crisp and nice, right? Oh, so cute. All right, let's add our second unit. Again, make sure that directional fabric is in the right direction. And then we are going to line up our seams, make sure that they're nesting. nesting perfectly.
The love that we share can never grow. In your gaze, the world looks bright, forever by your side. This town is quiet, serene and wide. You keep me warm.
And that is our 9-patch block. How cute is that? Oh my goodness. All right, let's make another one. And then we will go press them and those will be done.
And safe at night. No matter the season, we always bloom, 'cause you light up the gloom.
All right, super quick. I sewed that together in like a minute. So now we're gonna go back to the ironing board and we're gonna finish pressing our seams. Then our blocks will be done. Okay, I wanted to address something really quick. So in the pattern, it shows the rows being sewn together horizontally. You can do it this way if you're not using directional fabric. But if you use directional fabric like I did for this block, where I had the fabric that had to be going this way, I pieced the strips vertically, okay? So you can piece the blocks vertically or horizontally. It really doesn't matter, especially if you're using fabrics that are non-directional. You can definitely piece them this way and it's totally fine. But since we used directional fabrics for the example block that I put together, I pieced them vertically. Had I pieced them how the pattern shows, like this, horizontally, then my blocks would look like this and the fabrics would be sideways, okay? So that's why I pieced them vertically, so the fabric is in the right direction. Hopefully that makes sense, and I just wanted to point that out just in case anyone has a question about that. So you can piece them either way, though if you're using directional, I would do it in the vertical way that I showed in the video. If you're using fabrics that are solids or just have, you know, a pattern that can go whatever way. So if you have a pattern that's like this, where there's no direction to the print, it can go any way, then you can piece it like this, all right? Or you can also piece it vertically. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Also, I wanted to point something out just in case someone tries to do it before me. There's a typo. I left a T here on page 4. I just must not have backspaced one letter. So there's a T. So there's nothing missing here. It was just a whoopsie. So just ignore that T right there, okay? All right, let's press our seams, okay? So in the pattern, it says to press our seams downward. But since if you pieced your block with the horizontal rows, then you would press the seams downward, right? But since I pieced them vertically, well, you can press them however you want. Honestly, you can press them all to the left, all to the right, or press them outward. So I'm gonna press mine outward. It's totally up to you. My pressing instructions are really a suggestion. I mean, nesting your seams is really great, but if you have another pressing technique that you like to use, some people really like to press all of their seams open. So what that means is you go to the seam and you actually open it with your fingers like that, and then press it. So both the two separate fabrics are going in opposite directions, and that can help the block lay really nice and flat. But I rarely press my seams open just because it is a bit extra work. So I'm just gonna press these to the left and right edges, but depending on how you want to do it, you don't have to do it this way. You can press them all to one side, or you can press them open, but I think it looks really nice with them pressed outward, and this is laying really nice and flat. So see, that's what the seams look like pressed. See how nice that looks? I love how this looks right here. These corners, very crisp. And then that is our 9-patch block. Quite cute, don't you think? I really like it. I think it looks very nice. And then again, when that's done, I would just go over the block with my iron just to kind of set the seam in place, and just looks really nice and crisp. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's press our other real quick here. So again, I'm just going to press them outward. Like so. See how quick that went? Really doesn't take that long, but it makes a big difference when you're actually piecing your quilt top together. And that is our second 9-patch block, and we're gonna make 15 in total. So you're gonna need 30 units of the fabric E and F and 15 units of the F and G pieces, okay? And all of that information again is in the pattern on page 4 at the top. I put the fabric combo, how many sets you need, so how many sets of strips, and then how many units you cut from those sets. Oh, so there we go. There is our 9-patch blocks. Pretty cute, huh? Very fun. This was a lot of fun to make. I just love how simple it is, but it's a lot of fun. Again, it's really great for kind of honing in on your skills for pressing, for sewing a straight line, for cutting units from strips. Just lots of really good practice. So it's great for beginners. It's great for quilters that have maybe taken a break and are trying to make their way back into quilting. And it's just really fun for those of us who have been quilting for a long time, but just want to make something fun and cute and fairly easy. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help if I can. If you'd like to check out my shop, I've got all kinds of fabric in the shop. I've got some new stuff in there. I've restocked several quilt kits that I had before. I've also got some new art gallery fabric binding fabrics in. So if you want to check those out, it's fabric that they have created specifically for binding. So I have a really cute Halloween fabric for that. Let me get that really quick, actually. I gotta show you guys this. This Halloween one is super cute. Here, I'll open the package so you can really get a good look at it. So it's really cute. It's got little witchy hats and little bats, and then this really beautiful orange and black striping. So this is really great for binding, and I think I might have gotten like their last partial bolt of this stuff because it's not available to order anymore. This is all I have. So if you want some of this, you might want to go ahead and grab it because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this in stock again. So this is called the Wicked Bound, and it's art gallery fabric, binding fabric, okay? So we have that, that's new. I also got this really pretty blue with butterflies and little bumblebees and flowers. I thought this was really cute. So I also have this now available in the shop, and this is specifically for binding. So yeah, if you'd like to check those out, it's in the shop. I've got quite a bit of fabric. I'm contemplating coming up with a few more kits just because I have so much fun putting fabrics together. They seem to sell really, really well. So that might be something that I do here in the near future. We shall see. But just trying to get caught up on orders, and I'm pretty much caught up now. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for yet another order that I had to place, because again, you guys like blew me away with even more orders. So, oh my goodness, it's crazy. I feel very, very blessed and very, very grateful and very thankful for everyone that's placed an order and supported me and has just sent me really kind emails and really kind reviews on this pattern. And it means so much to me. You guys have no idea. This is a really, really cool thing happening to me, and I pinch myself. I come out here and I'm like, I still can't believe this is my little shop and my little studio, and this is what I'm getting to do for my living right now. I'm very, very excited and thankful. So just thank you so much. If you're interested in the blocks behind me, these are my block patterns that are released in my block of the month club each month. So it's $5 a month or $50 for a whole year, and you get a new block pattern every month. We do Zoom calls. You get a discount in my shop, which is really nice now that I sell fabric. Yeah, it's just it's a really fun time. We also have discussion boards where you can go on and talk about stuff and ask questions of people if you want to ask questions. So it's a great community we've built. I'm really, really excited. I'm already starting to kind of contemplate how I want to handle it next year, because it is kind of slowly growing. So I want to figure out if I want to do like a block of the month thing next year, or if I want to do more of like a project a month, like a new little project, or I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I'm going to survey everybody that's in the membership later on this year to kind of get a feel for what everyone would like and kind of what everyone kind of expects for next year. And I'm just really, really excited about it. It's very fun. It's very fun. It's a lot of extra work, but it's fun. I like it. And I'd love for you to join if you would like to join. And if you're not interested in coming to the Zoom calls, it's totally fine. Most people that are in the membership do not come to the Zoom calls, so don't feel like you're missing out too much. There is a solid group that comes to pretty much every meeting, but there's a lot of people that don't, and that's totally fine. We'll see how the how it goes for the rest of the year and kind of what I decide to do for next year. But it's gonna be fun no matter what, right? And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I hope you're enjoying the sew along so far. I hope you have fun making these blocks. They're super fun. They're super cute. And I just really hope you have a great rest of your day, a great weekend. Please get some rest. I know there's been some really crazy stuff happening, and I just hope that everyone is safe and careful. So please be safe. Have a really great weekend. Have fun making these blocks. And I will see you next week. All right.